Hey, how's it going? My name's Levine, and I believe that there is no reason for gun reform or stricter gun laws. And I speak from a person that is a gun enthusiast. I've shot in competitions, and I'm currently a veteran as I served with the United States Army as a combat medic. Now, the media sways people's perception of what firearms are and what that actually does, or what they actually do. Um, and honestly, there are already strict gun laws already in effect within this nation. There's already limitations on who can and who can't, such as violent criminals, domestic abusers, things of that nature. Those people aren't allowed to purchase or possess firearms for anybody that's convicted of a felony. And I believe the media also mislead the public as well as far as the verbiage they use. There's a huge misconception on what people think is a fully automatic weapon or what is a semi-automatic weapon. And the thing is, people vote on these things, and if you aren't really sure what the vernacular is or what the verbiage is, that can cause some serious issues. You can potentially strip the rights of other Americans within this nation. And that goes back into the Second Amendment. What is the Second Amendment for? It's to protect the people from a tyrannical government, and it affords the people their natural right to self-preservation. Now, personally, I would not want my rights taken away if they're afforded to me. In comparison, if you look at other countries, a lot of countries do not have certain rights. Certain countries outside of America, they do not have freedom of speech. You can be jailed or fined for offensive language. America is a democracy that a lot of people do take for granted. Granted, we do have our issues. In the case of mass shootings, it's a very terrible tragedy, and it's very unfortunate that we have things going on like this in our country. But if you look at the majority of the mass shootings, a lot of people obtain these firearms through erroneous manners. Some people were not allowed to have firearms to begin with, and some people were kids that take the firearms from their parents' storage rooms or closets or what have you, and they commit these atrocities, right? So, in what ways can we do that? A lot of people, there's a big debate with mass shootings, and they kind of demonize the weapons such as like an AR-15, right? But if you look at statistics based on the CDC and the National Safety Council, it'll show you that almost all shootings are carried out with pistols. And you can also, for example, if you were to take away firearms, right? Violent crime more than likely would not decrease. Because if you look at these other countries where, for example, or another continent like Australia, for example, there was a mandatory buyback, which quote unquote is a gun ban. And with all of these firearms and weapons taken away, gun crime didn't decrease. Violent crime didn't decrease. Now the problem is a lot of people pay too much attention to what tool was actually used as opposed to the act committed or the person that's committing the act. Now, if a person wants to do somebody bodily harm or physical harm, they can come up with other ways to do it. For example, being knifed. You're 5 times more likely to be stabbed than you are shot. And just like in Australia with the gun ban, you take guns away from the citizens, but violent crime didn't reduce. That's the thing. You need to stop paying attention to the tool used and pay attention to the actual act. So violent crimes didn't decrease, even with the guns being banned. So I would like for people to think about that. And the biggest thing is to educate yourself. That's the biggest thing. Even if you may not be into gun culture and that whole thing, or you're not interested in guns in general, you need to educate yourself, because you can't try to pass legislation based on your emotions. You have to base it off of factual information. And I would just ask that everybody take the time to really look into what it is they're really trying to do. Thank you.